Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to this Smackdown Talking Points video. I feel like quite a bit went down on Smackdown this week. We started off with no Corey, of course. Corey destroyed last week by Brock Lesnar, and so we had Booker T back. Wasn't expecting to see Booker T, but I don't mind Booker on Smackdown. And actually, there was some reasons as to why he made a lot of sense here. First of all, we're in Orlando. Of course, this is where Booker resides. He is on commentary on NXT every Tuesday. And of course, we would have JEVON from NXT on this show, so Booker able to kind of bring people up to speed about what JEVON brings to NXT on a Tuesday. So yeah, I did not mind this at all. So that was our commentary duo. The show started with Paul Heyman, and Heyman was just talking about lots of things, but he said perhaps we should talk about the conspiracy theories and rumors regarding Brock Lesnar. And I was really like, yes, let's go. I was ready for this conversation. And then Cody interrupted, right? Now, I like Cody. No issues with Cody. But please don't interrupt, just as Paul Heyman is about to speak about Brock Lesnar. And if you are going to interrupt, I hope it's for a very, very good reason. So Cody interrupts, makes his way down to the ring, gets into the ring. What's he going to say? I'm going to ask the question, tell me about Brock Lesnar. I mean, literally, Cody. He was literally about to. Then you've interrupted him, right? And gone, tell me what you was about to say. So there we go. We got that. Basically, Cody was like, look, are you the oracle? Are you the wise man? Are you the advocate? And Heyman responded, you are talking to the GOAT. So that was a good line. I did like that line. We didn't get anywhere, right? Unfortunately, we didn't get anywhere. We had the Vision come out. Cody then addressed Bron Breakker. He addressed Bronson Reed. This provoked a pretty big conversation in our chat about what Bron Breakker is going to go on and achieve. I think we all know WWE are positioning him for great things. But is he going to be that multiple-time WrestleMania main eventer? Is that what is in his future? I mean, if you look at Drew McIntyre, he was the chosen one. But, I mean, he ended up leaving WWE. And granted, he found his way back. He did find his way back, but we got to say that kind of initial run where he kind of ends up in 3MB, like, it didn't go to plan. So there's no guarantee that this is going to work with Bron Breakker. But I don't know. It was a big conversation, an interesting conversation. Either way, they were beating down Cody. Cody outnumbered. Cody was basically saying to Bron, he's lying to you. He's just telling you what you want to hear. He's telling you you're going to be this massive star, main event WrestleMania multiple times. But I bet he's saying the same to Bronson Reed as well, which I thought was actually quite good. A good line there by Cody. But they didn't appreciate it. They beated him up. And then down came Randy Orton. Randy making the save. And this has been a pretty big talking point, and it was very fleeting. It was very, very fleeting. This is one of those where you could easily have missed this moment because he kind of has a glance of it, and then we very quickly cut away. But everyone getting a screenshot of Randy looking at the belt, Cody noticing it as well, are the seeds being planted. It was pointed out in our watch long as well that Randy had mentioned previously that he was coming for that belt. Not in a destructive way, like he's going to destroy Cody for it, but just in a friendly, you know, I do still have my sights set on winning that championship again. So, yeah, how are we going to get there? I'm sure we will get there. How are we going to get there? Not sure. Is this a glimpse of WrestleMania? Don't know. Right, then we went backstage. We got the Street Profits. They seem to be on good terms again. I didn't detect at any point any issue between them, even during the match, which is quite noteworthy. Yeah, Boulder's like, why is everyone pointing at each other? And I don't know, to be honest. This here, look, we got him pointing. He gets up. Then we've got some pointing over here. He points back. He points down to him. Everyone's like pointing at each other in a little, I don't know, why is everyone pointing at each other? Michael Cole mentions The Miz's comments about wanting a match with John Cena on commentary. And we spoke about that in Unseen. The Miz was very upset with the fans that they had not kind of started a campaign for John Cena versus The Miz. So I don't know if they're planting seeds for a John Cena match that's going to be happening. I don't know, maybe if after AJ we get one of those Raw appearances, it could be John against The Miz, John against Dominic Mysterio. Like, we could absolutely do something like that. But don't know where we're going with it. But Michael did mention those comments. As the match continued, Carmelo grabbed a hold of The Miz to stop The Miz from stealing the win again. This is something that's been irritating Carmelo. And Miz was like, what you doing? What you doing? And of course, it would end in defeat. Street Profits picking up the victory. But I think the fact that Miz and Melo weren't on the same page tonight and that resulted in them losing is obviously an interesting talking point. I think we could all see Miz against Carmelo, little feuds, Carmelo going off on his own. I don't know what we would do with the Miz after that. He's really struggled to kind of get used by creative. So I don't know what we would do with him. I think Carmelo, though, probably ready to break away. He had a great match with Sami the other week. So he's probably ready to kind of go off on his own. So something to keep an eye on there. Lots of teams teasing, a lot of friction. And then, of course, at the end, we had the Wyatt Sicks. No sign of Howdy. I didn't see Howdy. I did wonder if Howdy was going to pop up later in the show. Never saw him. But we did have the other members out there. They were staring at the Street Profits. Street Profits staring back. So doesn't feel like Street Profits and the Wyatt Sicks as a feud is done. And every time the Wyatts are around, it feels like the Profits have got issues internally. So I could see us doing Street Profits, Wyatt Sicks. I could see that maybe leading ultimately to the Profits splitting apart. And the future doesn't look great for Melo Don't Miz either. Olympic gold medalist Noah Lyles was in attendance on SmackDown. So look at all them medals. So there we go. He was in attendance. Then we went to our next match. Giulia got rocked. So here we've got Giulia on the outside. There's Michin. Michin charging over. Bang! Drop kick off the commentary table, but it wouldn't be enough. And actually, Giulia would pin Michin to get the win. So that was the tag match. It was Kiana and Giulia against Michin and B-Fab. And the match was okay. I think it was a big step down from the opening match. I thought the opening match was much better. One thing I do want to say about this match is, even though it was a bit throwaway and I think it was a bit of a lull in the show, it's great to see Giulia, of course. But not only that, I was really impressed with Kiana's selling. A couple of times where she got rocked and she was like out, kind of slumped against Michin. I think it was Michin, might have been B-Fab. She was like just out and slumped up against them. And again in the corner, she got rocked and she was just like out and she was just like slumped over in the corner. I actually enjoyed some of her selling. So something to keep an eye on there. I think Kiana gets a bit of a bad rep because people don't know her. She's been away for a while due to injury. She doesn't really fit with Giulia that well. And some people are thinking maybe she's holding Giulia back in a way. I don't know. But Kiana's a good talent. I like Kiana. I think there is a future there. So there we go. That's all I got to say about that. Backstage, we had Zaria and Sol Ruca. Obviously, it makes sense to have some NXT talent around. We're trying to promote tomorrow's NXT No Mercy. And we were in Orlando as well. And so we had the tag champs just basically saying, look, if you want a shot at the titles, you're going to have to prove yourself first. I wondered if they were going to have a match later on in the show, but they didn't. So it seems like this is maybe going to be a long-term story. I did wonder if they were going to book something for No Mercy tomorrow, but again, they didn't, which I think is a shame, because had they have booked this match for No Mercy tomorrow, I think that would have really helped with the views and the attention that show's going to get. So, but sadly, again, they didn't. So I'm not expecting this at No Mercy, but they have set their sights on those tag titles. Then Drew came out and he had this surgical boot on and doesn't feel like he needs it. I mean, it did get removed later on in this segment. And actually, even Nick Aldis came out and went, where did you get that from? Because it certainly wasn't from our medical department. So even Nick Aldis came out and kind of cast doubt on the cast, right? So he made his way down. Drew was saying, do the referees work for WWE or do they work for Cody Rhodes? Well, I'll tell you what, after tonight, if the refs do work for Cody Rhodes, then I think he's doing a rubbish job. Because that botch in the main event was pretty bad. So we'll get to that, of course. But as he was going off and Nick Aldis came out and he was going off at Nick Aldis, Jacob's music hit. And, mate, the aura for Jacob is insane. Jacob makes his way down and was coming to the ring. And I got to be honest, I did find the top a distraction. I didn't like the top. I think it's because in football, soccer, you have the name and the number on the back. So as he was making his way down, I was looking at that going, that feels like it's the wrong way round. And that's a distraction that I didn't need. I mean, if he just wore a top that had his kind of logo on, that would have been sick. But I was looking at that going, that really feels like it's the wrong way round. Does dude know that he's put his shirt on the wrong way round? I'm sure in American football, that is correct. But to my eyes, I was like, that feels like it's the wrong way round. So he made his way down and he basically murked Drew. He ended up taking the boot off Drew and walloping him with it, which was kind of fun. They obviously had a few words first, though. I am here for that match. Jacob, Drew, that is going to bang. Right, then backstage we had Sami. He was talking to Rey Fenix. In the background was Shinsuke. I don't know what Shinsuke's got on his head. I don't know what's going on here. It might just be a little bit of a trick. It might just be that you can't quite make out the image that well. But Shinsuke in the background. We are clearly building to Shinsuke versus Sami, and I am so here for that. I mean, Shinsuke Sami was actually Shinsuke's first match in WWE down in NXT. It's regarded as one of NXT's greatest ever matches. It might still be Shinsuke's greatest ever match, and it was his very first debut match. So if we do Shinsuke Sami in 2025, I've got to think this year. I can't imagine we're going to stretch this out to next year, but sometime soon, I just hope it gets close to the classic they had down in NXT. And then we had Stephanie. She was visiting a lot of the challengers. She would visit Jade. I think she visited everyone. Tiffany, Jade, Nia. That, of course, would be our main event. And we know the winner of that match will face Stephanie at Crown Jewel. So then we went to our next part. Quite a few bits in here. So John Cena against AJ Styles made official. There's the match graphic. Michael Cole said the fans demanded it. The fans got it. John Cena, AJ Styles. Oh, that looks like it's gone in the wrong part of the folder. Well, I hope this is not all in a mixed up order. So here we've got a solo segment. So Solo was this time putting over JC. I like these segments. I think they're good. I think they work really well. I think he put over Tongaloa really well the other week, and this time he was putting over JC. I thought it worked well. Mate, the person that answered the flipping mystery challenge turned out to be the young OG. I didn't know if I had a moment of the young OG coming out, but when he comes out, it's so good. This is what the young OG's doing. Look at that. Look at that. The young OG. Oh my God. Again, NXT superstar. Sami with his open challenge. This did leak, but I was able to avoid spoilers. And I'm so glad that I did. I'm so glad I didn't spoil that for myself. I think it's such a shame if you did find that out in advance, because it was wonderful seeing JEVON come down. Big fan of JEVON, big fan of NXT, knew this match would bang. Community loved it, gave it a really high score. Great 74, one of the highest rated SmackDown matches of the year, and loads of action like that. Of course, Sami would get the win, but the crowd were on their feet chanting, "This is awesome." And lots of love being shown to the young OG, JEVON Evans. Again, he'll be in action at No Mercy. Here we had Chelsea trying to recruit a replacement for Slaygent P, who we know is going to be out with injury for what sadly looks to be quite a long time. She's trying to recruit some new people. We had flyers. So there we go. Job opening. Yeah. Looking for a new Slaygent for Chelsea Green. And she was trying to get Nia, but Nia was not interested. Nia turned her down. Then we had another backstage segment. We had Kit Wilson talking about toxic masculinity. He was talking to Damian. These guys obviously had a conversation last week with Kit Wilson going through a wall. In the background was Aleister Black. He would make his presence felt, but also in the background was this person right here. And we still don't know who it was. In the split second I saw it, I was like, is that Theory? It felt like it was Theory. I think I'm judging it off the necklace, and the head kind of looks a bit Theory-like, right? So I was like, is that Theory? But it's so hard to tell because here's the footage. And thanks to Johnny, you can see the person walks out, backs away, and goes again. I mean, I'm still leaning towards Theory being an option. But I really don't know. I don't know. That's the clearest image that we've got. Black Ice is like, it's definitely not Theory. I mean, what I would say is that looks like it might have some tattoos on that arm. But again, it's such a sketchy picture that I can't say for certain. I mean, the chain feels very Theory. If he's grown a bit of facial hair whilst he's been away, I don't know. Some people said, is it Finn? I don't think it's Finn. Some people wondered if it was Tamatonga. I think that's an option. I'm still leaning with Theory being an option. I don't know. Who was this mystery man in the background? Some people said it was no one. I don't know. That strikes me as a wrestler. The size of that person makes me think it's a wrestler. And I don't know. The way it was shot and the way they came out and then went back again, it feels a bit too deliberate, you know? I think we were meant to see this person. Well, I don't know. Theory and Tamatonga are my two front runners. Either way, Aleister Black would end up laying out Damian Priest, and he wished him a happy birthday. Then we went to our main event match. So here, Nia came down, and she was wilding. I don't know what was going on with Nia, but she was flipping the bird to the crowd. I don't know what this was, but I loved it. Here's Tony the Wrestling Nerds. I mean, I don't know what we're doing, right? I don't know if this is big balling or what we're doing here, but we've got a little bit of a dance on the go. I feel like it is probably connected with male genitalia. I just don't know. But, yeah, it was interesting. It was quite botchy, though. I mean, there was obviously the moment where Jade got thrown into the ring steps. I don't know how this picture ended up all the way down here, but that was the end result of it. You can see the wound right there, blood pouring down her face. I would say this main event had some spots that were fine and executed okay. It felt like a fight because I think there was a bit of miscommunication, a bit of mistiming. Definitely there were some spots that didn't quite go to plan in this. Certainly this being one where she got thrown in the ring steps and busted open. But really it's about the finish, isn't it? The finish is the one that everyone's talking about. So here we've got the ref coming in. 1, 2. I mean, there is just no reason why that's a 2. Nia does not move in the slightest. 1, 2. And I don't even think you can make an argument that shoulder is up. The only thing I can think is Nia is obviously meant to kick out. We know after this we get the prettiest moonsault, and we know that Tiffany goes on to get the win. So as botches go, it's bad, but no one got hurt. And the person that should have won ended up winning anyway, right? So that has kind of, downplayed it a touch. But the only thing I can think is that the ref thought Nia was going to kick out. And rather than running the risk of counting the 3 for real, she's got into a habit of going 1, 2, and doing that, right? And not counting the 3. Because if she does that just as Nia gets the shoulder up, it kind of, I don't know, works. It's a bit of a, like, you know, a bit of a performance. She goes 1, 2, and she makes a big thing out of, no, I didn't count the 3. And she does it just as Nia gets the shoulder up. And perhaps that's like a bit of a routine that she's kind of got into. Problem is, if Nia doesn't move and doesn't get the shoulder up, she looks a bit stupid because it just looks like she refuses to count the 3. So 1, 2. I have no idea why Nia does not move. To me, that's the big question. Well, there's 2 questions. Why did the ref not count the 3? She absolutely should. There's no movement from Nia. I don't believe the shoulder's up because, to be honest, she's counting anyway. 1, 2. There's no movement. She's already counted 2. So why would you not just count the 3? There's no movement. It's not as if she even like just gets the shoulder up a little bit. There's just no movement there at all. So she's already counted 2. And it really, I know the angle's not great, but I mean, I don't believe her shoulder is up. I genuinely, right now as I'm sat here, I obviously don't know the real answer. Only they're going to know the real answer, and that has not come out. But I think she's just got into a habit of counting 1, 2, and then doing that for times where she knows the person's going to kick out. But again, it just doesn't look great if the person doesn't then kick out. 1, 2. Yeah. Look, she looks straight at Nia there. And I wonder if Nia was just thinking that 2 had been counted and, I don't know, perhaps Nia missed one of the counts. And so she's thinking it's going to be 2, but the ref's about to count the 3, and Nia's miscounted or didn't hear one of them, or I don't know what the hell went on. That did definitely ruin the match for many people. A lot of people in our community were like, God, that was rubbish. That was rubbish. I mean, she only does a prettiest moonsault and then gets the 3 anyway. So, I mean, did we need to carry on for a few more seconds and do a prettiest moonsault? No, we didn't. We should have counted that 3. I wonder if that's just a bad habit, as I said. I wonder if the refs, because historically the refs were told you count 3. It's not your fault. If the wrestler doesn't kick out, that's not your fault. They should kick out. It's on them. They're the ones being paid to be the performers. Like, they should kick out. It's your job to just count a nice steady 3. But I wonder if she's just got into a bad habit of, you know, doing that instead. Don't know. Fascinating. Tiffany retains, but a very strange ending, says Slamex. So anyway, there we go. There's Crown Jewel. That's the match that we've got coming up. It is official. Tiffany would come down, hold up her championship. Tiffany would hold up her championship. WrestleVote said, yeesh, ugly pin sequence at the end of SmackDown. We would hear from Kit Wilson as well. He said, step by step, wheel by wheel, I'm changing the culture. So, I mean, we're really doing something with Kit Wilson at the moment. Getting him on TV week in, week out. And, yeah, okay. Bayley was praising Sami Zayn. And there was the graphic champion versus champion. Tiffany will take on Women's World Champion Stephanie for the Crown Jewel Championship. So loads of talking points coming out of this week's show. Obviously, Sami JEVON being the banger of the night. One of the biggest talking points being Nia botching by hurling Jade into the steps. Probably too hard, too low. They're not kicking out at the end, but I think the ref has got to take some responsibility there as well. And as a result, you know, that main event kind of leaving us scratching our heads. But it got us where we needed to get to. We know the top 2 matches now for Crown Jewel. And yeah, on we go.